Jojo, you look so bored, man. Why are you looking? Oh, you trying to do the Instagram, man? What up? We're back at it again. Real Fans Podcast. Another week in the books. We have a special guest in the house, but I'm going to say what's up to my man Julian over here. Julian, say what's up.
What's up, people? What's up, people? I guess for me, I'm below you.
Oh, you're the low? Oh, I don't know.
I'm on top of you.
He's somewhere over here.
I mean, listen, I wouldn't say special guest, but we do have a guest who goes by the name of Trey. He's here in the building. You know,
fellas.
See what
And then we got...
Happy to be here, with the exception of having to look at JoJo's face for like another hour and a half or however.
I'm surprised you haven't told him to shave that stupid beard of his.
Yeah,
Anyways.
Most of his face. Can I say one thing? So like once we all logged on before we started going on air, so JoJo saw that Julian was wearing a Red Sox shirt, and he's so petty that he literally got out of his seat, went to the bathroom, changed his clothes because he's that petty. That actually happened.
We're definitely going to address the elephant in the room of what the hell Julian's wearing right now with this disrespect. But, I don't want to distract everybody from the episode. We're going to get into that. I don't know what he has, where he found that. Maybe the nearest, dumpster around his neighborhood. But, we can continue with Trey's intro going on here. So, Trey, tell us about yourself, where you're from. If you like sports, this is a sports podcast. So, I'm pretty sure you know a decent amount of stuff here. But tell the world.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me all. I was born in New York. I know JoJo through my cousin. They're best friends. We became friends in the process when we met. Or, I guess frenemies, because I don't really like them that much. I moved to South Florida when I was like 10 years old. I loved the Miami Heat. I didn't have a lot of friends when I first moved down here, so like the only thing that I would do was watch Dwayne Wade on TV, because that's the year he got drafted. So he was like this young cat from Marquette, and he was literally everybody's idol down here in South Florida. When it comes to football, I had already started watching football, so unfortunately I'm a Jets fan. But yeah, whatever. Thankfully they're doing a little bit better this year. Had 2 bad weeks. But I think that are they still in the wild card? What's going on right now?
They're in the hunt. They're being competitive right now.
Okay. I'm a Yankees fan as well, so I'm going to have to take JoJo's. I don't like taking JoJo's side, but I'm going to have to take his side on this one. I am a Yankees fan. And I like soccer too. I like Premier League soccer. I love Champions League. I love just competitiveness, and I love seeing the best of the best go at it. That's pretty much where I'm at with sports. Oh, and also I went to the University of Florida, so I'm a Gator fan as well.
Ooh.
Yo,
finally got somebody to talk some soccer.
You got to give us the Gator chomp for the one time.
No. Wow.
You know what it is.
Anyways, let's get into this week. Obviously, we're going to talk about the biggest news in sports, and obviously NFL happens every week. Every week we're tuning in. This past weekend, lots of things happening in the NFL. But let's get into it. Let's talk about Julian's favorite quarterback that he likes to talk about.
Gabe's favorite player. Gabe's favorite player. He's always talking about this guy. He's got his jersey. He doesn't want to show it.
He swears.
Yeah, honestly. Yo, have you been ashamed lately, Gabe? I'm surprised. I haven't seen a jersey in a while.
How dare you embarrass me in front of company? So they try to claim that I'm a big Baker Mayfield fan. I'm not
got a Dolphins Baker Mayfield jersey. I've seen it.
Custom made.
That's the jersey you have a Baker Mayfield?
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's a Dolphins one.
It's a disrespect.
Baker Mayfield jersey.
Hey, I'm wearing a Miami shirt. Okay, guys, don't disrespect me. Anyways, let's talk about Baker Mayfield over the weekend. Obviously, he got signed on the offseason. He got signed to Carolina. It was a big country. He was with the Browns. And then he thought he was going to get traded, and the Browns are like, "Oh no! Don't go anywhere. Don't say anything." Then eventually he gets traded to Carolina. He got cut.
No,
so
not traded.
Yeah,
he got cut and picked up.
He did. Oh, he got cut and picked up. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm misremembering history right now. But obviously, he goes to Carolina. He gets a couple starts and loses his job. And over the past weekend, he got released from the Carolina Panthers. So, Julian, I'll go to you. How do you feel like? Did Baker Mayfield get a fair cut, a fair chance to play? Do you think that he's still able to play in the NFL?
Dude, this guy is a cockroach. He just doesn't die. He doesn't die. Yeah. He just keeps on getting jobs. I don't know how. obviously, like a very tragic accident happened to Matthew Stafford that could end his career possibly with looks like a spinal cord contusion. So
Yeah.
who knows what's going to end up happening with that? That was part of the reasoning for it. The Rams still seems like they're trying to make a run, but I don't think it's going to happen. No, I mean Baker Mayfield's done, man. He's done. He's gotten too many chances. He had all the best team in Cleveland. He went to Carolina. That was going to be a shit show. I could have told you that. The writing was on the wall there. And now he's going to go to Los Angeles, which is a team that's already struggling, suffering from tons of injuries, and with this upcoming quarterback draft class, no, I mean he's done. He's a backup. He's a bridge guy, but even then, like, it's not going to happen. Gabe, I know, like, I mean, do you think he could rattle off something over there?
Man, I think he's cooked. I think as far as Baker Mayfield, like, this was one of the things that when, he got released and got picked up again, I was like, this is like maybe a chance for him to rest, because the biggest thing with him is like he's always playing through injuries, right? And he's like one of these guys that he's not going to talk about it. He has a shoulder, he has a knee, whatever. He's not going to talk about his injuries. He's just going to get out there and tough it out, and kind of, in a way, you will kind of want that out of a quarterback, right? You want somebody who's just going to, stay quiet and just be about business, be professional, and just go out there regardless of what's going on with the body. So, and, we're kind of seeing like the back end of it, right? Because now he did all that stuff and he wasn't able to produce and be productive. So, it's kind of tough. I would, Baker Mayfield definitely had high hopes coming into the season. As far as his career,
high hopes.
I mean,
who's
in his career? He got drafted high. I mean, not for Carolina. I'm not saying
he was supposed to be the savior once again.
Yeah,
and couldn't pull through. So,
man, you want to talk about a shit show organization as the Carolina Panthers? What the fuck are they going to do? They got rid of the coach mid-season, like rightfully so.
Get rid of Christian McCaffrey. They get rid of Robbie Anderson. I mean, I think
they need a clean house. They need to, like, big time. Like,
once you get
Matt Rule is one of the worst hires I've ever seen.
No,
Matt Rule is one of the worst hires they could have ever done. Like, that just proves once again you cannot hire a college coach who's done nothing and bring him to the NFL. It just doesn't work like that. It's a completely different ball game.
Oh yeah, we've seen in Jacksonville for sure.
Bro, the dude came from Baylor. Like, granted he turned that program around, but like very few guys have been able to like translate that, and the ones that have, they have NFL experience. And like I knew from the jump that Matt Rule was not going to.
Yeah. So Trey, what do you want to say?
Paying for it now.
Yeah, what I wanted to say was that I made a bet the year that Baker Mayfield was drafted, Sam Darnold. There was like that whole, where are both of these two players going to go? Is it going to be the Browns or Jets? So I made a bet with a buddy that whoever won that game between the Browns and the Jets would have to get the other person the jersey of the player of one of those two players. And I obviously lost the bet, so I had to get him a Baker Mayfield Cleveland Browns jersey.
No shot that you own one of those. Yo, I never knew this about this guy. Yo, no wonder why we never picked you up on this episode.
Yeah, we got two hosts with Baker Mayfield.
Damn, man, yo, we doubled up here on this show.
Don't disrespect.
Man, listen, Trey.
Talk about a terrible draft class.
That was a very entertaining
Sam Darnold, Mitchell Trubisky,
is this
Baker Mayfield?
What's going on with Sam Darnold? Like, I mean, he didn't live up to the hype either. Just very, very disappointing.
And you Jets really know how to pick them.
Yeah. Geno Smith, man.
Yeah,
Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, now Zach Wilson.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
Ah, damn.
But yeah, I think that and what about like the Heisman Trophy winners the past 15 years? We got Johnny Football,
Winston,
Marcus Mariota,
Winston.
I mean, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Winston, yeah. Even Tim Tebow, like all these players that were supposed to be like these saviors, and then they come into the league. Oh, what about RG3? I mean, I know he had his injuries and stuff, but there's just been a lot of plays where you're just like, what the hell happened? Like, these guys were amazing in college, and then they come into the league, and it's like, where are they now, right?
Yeah.
Well, he had Lamar Jackson. He had Andrew Luck didn't win it.
I actually now that we're talking about, somebody mentioned Jameis Winston. I have a Jameis Winston anecdote as well. One time, I was up in New York at a family gathering, and one of my cousins whipped out the crab legs. So I took a video for Instagram, and I tagged Jameis Winston, and I was like, Jameis Winston, where you at, bro? And can you believe he actually reached back out to me? He wrote back to me. He was like, damn, you need some seasoning on those crab legs.
Wow.
Pretty cool, too.
Frame it up. Put that tweet in the. Put that.
I love that. He could have taken it as like disrespect, but that just goes to show that he has a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
So kudos to Jameis Winston, and I mean, I should hate him more than anybody because he won that Heisman Trophy with Florida State. Yeah. But I appreciate people that just have good senses of humor and can laugh at themselves sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's tough coming out of college, right? Because for me, I'm a kind of a wait and see guy, right? Because you have all these college players that I'm like, wait until they're facing like the top defenders or top linemen,
like you did with Tua,
top linebackers,
like you did with Tua,
wait and see, I was like,
you waited.
I had some.
I'm still waiting.
Wow,
I'm still waiting.
We'll talk about.
I want to see when he doesn't have like the fucking God Squad around him.
Okay, let's not. Hey, listen. If I had to pick,
because I can see a Russell Wilson 2.0 happening like in the next like couple few years.
Damn.
I don't know, man, because T-Law, Trevor Lawrence ain't doing that well in Jacksonville.
We still waiting.
Talking about he's been balling. What are you talking about?
I mean, he's not an MVP conversation. It's not like my son Tua. Okay, I love.
Tua's not an MVP.
Anyways,
he should not be in an MVP conversation.
As far as Baker Mayfield, I mean, I think they'll give him a chance. Obviously, it's devastating to or whatever. They have a contusion. Stafford has a spine contusion or whatever. They're saying, reading reports that he's probably eligible. I think they play this Thursday. They play the Raiders. They're saying that he's eligible to play. I don't know if he's going to get the start. Obviously, it's kind of tough getting fired 1 week and then coming the next week, unless the playbooks are the same or the language is the same. I highly doubt that. It probably takes like a week or two to get to speed, especially this late in the season. Like, I don't expect him to start. Maybe in an emergency, maybe, but.
Unless they play simple plays, simple reads. I mean, man, talk about a fall from grace. Rams are 3-9.
Yo, that's what I want to talk about too. Like the Rams for being a Super Bowl champion, like you kind of expect like, obviously they went all in last year.
They didn't lose anybody either.
Yeah, nope. I mean, the Von Miller, didn't they lose Von Miller?
They lost Von Miller.
Yeah, but he was gone he joined halfway through the season. They were already on.
OBJ came in late and got hurt, obviously. And OBJ. Well,
OBJ.
I don't know if we're going to talk about OBJ later.
Last year. When you lose two players, you lose OBJ and you lose Von Miller. Like that.
Yeah, but they were contenders before they came. They came halfway through the season.
Yeah, you can be contenders, but to win those playoff games, those key wins, you need those key players doing your jobs. You know what I mean?
I think they would have been fine without OBJ. I mean, OBJ helped.
We know how you feel about OBJ, but Von Miller himself, like, come on, like you see what he's done.
Yeah, I mean that's a big. Speaking of Von, he tore his ACL.
Yeah. So I mean, LA has been having a rough. Both LA teams. I mean, we've talked about the Rams. Obviously, Baker Mayfield possibly playing probably a backup. But man, the Rams this year for going all in last year, Super Bowl champions. You think they return, and it's been fucking zero. They fucking sold their souls, and so unproductive.
They even added Allen Robinson in that wide receiver room, which could easily be a number one wide receiver in any other team. Like that's just. I don't know what happened there. Like, I really, like, even before the injuries, obviously Cooper Kupp's gone. Matthew Stafford might be gone for the rest of his life. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I really don't. Like, it's a big mystery to me because I want to say a lot of those guys on the defense are still intact.
No. So, tough road to hoe. I do like Baker Mayfield. Like I said, it's kind of, injuries catch up to you, right? So it's tough. I'm not a Baker Mayfield stan, Trey. Okay. I promise you. They try to put that label on me. Do not put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. But I kind of like him, But luckily we don't have to see those commercials.
You love him. Just say it.
We have to see any more.
You love
he's
him.
In a new market. He's in LA. I think that was strategic because he loves his commercials. So I think he's in the right market now. You might see a lot more Baker Mayfield commercials than touchdowns.
No one's doing commercials for backup quarterbacks. Like
he's Baker though. There's only one Baker Mayfield.
That's a horrible statistic to have, though. Like, imagine more commercials than touchdowns. It's like, what are you even doing in the league?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're kind of boosting. The NFL's trying to boost him up, and they're trying to just put him in the face. I'm like,
they're giving him like the Tebow treatment. Like, they want him to be amazing so bad.
Yeah,
right. Like, but it's just not. It's not working.
No, there was nothing like I've ever seen that whole Tebow era.
Oh my god, crazy. Yeah, like, and even it's like talk about beating a dead horse. And these are stand-up guys, you know, like Tim Tebow just seems like the nicest guy in the world. But I mean, come on, like after a certain point, it's like, okay, it's just not gonna happen.
You know, think like, you heard it a lot? I grew up in Jacksonville.
Oh my god,
you hear that shit every fucking day. Like you heard that every day. I was the only non-believer in Tebow. I'm like, are y'all fucking delusional? I get that he grew up down the street from where I used to live.
Oh wow.
But I'm like, shit, like, come on, man. Like, dude's not good. He doesn't have it. Like, because Jacksonville's filled with Gator fans. Like, and and he grew up on the same neighborhood that I did. So it's like, I get it. Like, he's the hometown kid, but I'm like, bro, the guy's.
That's where they do Florida Georgia every year.
Yeah.
Yeah. The neutral field, but not really neutral.
That's not neutral.
I mean, they split the stadium in half. Like, you have to red on this side, blue.
But Georgia people, when they come into town, they're in Florida. So,
speaking of Florida, let's talk about another Florida team over the past weekend. Obviously, my Miami Dolphins. You know, South Florida team. I wear my Miami shirt. They traveled, going to San Francisco. We kind of talked about the Dolphins a little bit. You know, they had a tough. Probably first 4 or 5 games, pretty tough. They pulled it out. They put out some crazy wins over Baltimore, over the Buffalo Bills. Then he had easy schedule, and now we're getting to the tough schedule. And, you know, going into San Francisco, the Dolphins obviously is facing a buzzsaw because, you know, San Francisco makes that big trade, JoJo, for Christian McCaffrey. I know you have him on your fantasy team. He's giving you points. So kind of tough road to hoe. I'll go to you, JoJo. Like, how do you feel like the Dolphins were fair in this game? Like, do you think the Dolphins, you know, at this point in the season, going into San Francisco, who seems to be like going on all fours, like they seem to be revving up to the playoffs. They're playing well enough.
Yeah.
Like,
we already knew that this is going to be a challenging game for them. We were talking about it last week, and you know, I just want to call out Julian real quick. There's a turnaround in San Francisco, my friend. Listen, they can put up points. I'm telling you. I know they are known for their.
We'll
defense,
see now. I mean, we'll get to let's talk about Gabe's Dolphin side, and then we can discuss the other side of the ball. The team actually.
All right, that's fair. All right, so starting with the Dolphins, I guess, right? I mean, we knew they had the potential. You got a star quarterback. You got your 2 major receivers, and unfortunately, they just wasn't letting it fly for whatever reason with the points. But that could be a result to San Francisco's defense. As we knew, it was going to be a challenge regardless. But, you know, we're talking again last episode. We thought it would be a closer game because apparently you guys think San Francisco can't score when they have Debo, they have Kittle, you know, they have McCaffrey, like they have a big
Ayuk.
3 that can score. Like, you know what I mean? Like they had Ayuk. I had him on fantasy last season. They have playmakers right now. Yeah, we didn't really trust Jimmy G like that, but he was getting the job done. Unfortunately, he went out with an injury. So now we have 3rd string quarterback come in and that's going to take over. So again, regarding back to the Dolphins, man, they had a hit San Francisco defense that now turned into a high-powered offensive team. So I don't think it's over for the Dolphins. I think San Francisco is actually just that good this year.
Yeah.
Well, before we give the flowers to San Francisco putting up the points, let's be real. This is a Dolphins defense that has been allowing points in yards.
I know the slander is coming.
And right. Let me rattle off some of the amount of points they've been.
Here's a slander. Here we go. Here's the disrespect.
Hold up. They allowed 38 to the Ravens. They allowed 40 to the Jets, 27 to the Bengals, 19 to the Bills, 24 to the Vikings, 32 to the Bears, 27 to the Lions.
32 to the Bears? Oh, I thought Dolphins.
Bro, yeah. See, now is your mind changing? Like,
I mean,
bro, and then that and some of those games that they won, like that Bills win, the Bills had 400 yards of offense.
That was a comeback game.
And the Bills choked that game. So the Dolphins' offense has been keeping them in games. That defense is doing them. I mean, that's what worries me. That's what worries me on this playoff run is if they can stop the bleeding.
Yeah,
it hasn't shown that they can.
Huge injuries, obviously. I mean, I think Emmanuel Ogbah went out a couple of weeks ago. I think he had a torn shoulder. He's out for this season. That's a huge guy who contributed a whole bunch last year and the last couple of years. Brian Jones has been in and out with injuries. He's back now playing, but he was out early on in the season. So their main kind of big star players obviously been out. And, defense is a problem. Defensively, it is a problem to allow so much. I think they're, getting that trade that they got Chubb from Denver, JoJo, your Broncos, was huge for them because they needed help defensively. So, and Chubb has been playing pretty well for them. He, as far as putting pressure. So, as far as going in San Francisco, I kind of expect it to be a tough game. Obviously, going on the road, you're going to the West Coast. You have that, jet lag, whatever. I kind of expected it to be tough, but San Francisco is a playoff team. San Francisco, especially now, like I said, they're some of the best teams I've seen to go. It's not how you start the season; it's kind of how you rev it up, right? That 1 year that the 1 year that the Giants won, when they beat the Patriots, like they just started getting hot at the end, and once they got into the playoffs, they were just hot. Not that the early on in the season they were like mediocre, whatever, but they started catching
fire.
Catching fire, at the right time. And I think that's what San Francisco is doing right now, at this point in the season. We're, halfway through. We're almost, a couple more weeks, 5, 6 more weeks.
I mean, they're 8-4 right now. They're in the battle with the Seahawks for the division.
Yeah. Surprisingly. I would have expected, is LA in the division? That's right, the NFC.
Yeah.
Yeah. LA's in the division. I would have expected LA to
and the Cardinals.
Yeah. We just talked about how LA has been so disappointing.
And so the Cardinals, so
I do want to talk about the other side of the ball. We'll kind of switch topics, but still the same game. Jimmy G out for the season with a broken foot.
Yeah, obviously he went down early.
So
the Jimmy G curse
went down early. San Francisco still wins, but Mr. Irrelevant comes into the game. Final pick of I forgot what 2017 draft. He was the last person called. Came in and fun fact, he is the first Mr. Irrelevant to complete a pass in the NFL.
Wow. There you go. Thank you, Kyle Shanahan, for your vision.
He's the first, and he's going to be the first Mr. Irrelevant to start a game.
Yeah.
So in the NFL. So pretty crazy, weird stat. But
yeah, I think they put in. I don't know the kid's first name. Purdy, I think is his last name.
It's a
Purdy. And as soon as he came in, it's kind of devastating.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy. There you go. That's his name.
He went 25 for 37, 210 yards, and 2 TDs.
Balled out. And you know what's crazy about the San Francisco team? One, he has all the weapons in the world. Two, if he's scared to throw the ball, they're already a run-dominant team anyway, so he could just do handoffs all day if he really wanted to.
But the defense will always keep you in games.
Julian, I want to go to you because, you think that, obviously, Purdy comes in and he has a fantastic game. When he first came in, me as a Dolphin, I'm like, I'm not worried about this guy. This guy's some no name I never heard of.
Mr. Irrelevant.
This guy, it's going to be easy cake. But obviously, they pull out the win. But Julian, do you think that him coming in and playing well and being efficient, do you think is that more of we're praising him for actually having a good, decent game against all right team with maybe you want to say bad defense? Okay, I'll there's arguments for that. But is that an indictment?
Arguments for that.
Is that an indictment of do you think that's an indictment of Jimmy G? Obviously, he goes down with the injury, which is devastating. I think the first drive, one of the first plays. Is that an indictment of Jimmy G? We can just plug in anybody and they can just run the same offense and still be effective.
Jimmy G's a bum, dude. He's a bum.